your friend's intention was just get off this camera, but but the other one, I'm not making videos, but the other one, it seems we can't edit out it was over time, even with all the signs were like, well, maybe that's of service, but they went 2 seconds over the maximum time, and I actually trying to, don't know. I mean, I just can't even find the controls on how to cut out a minute of or something. Your friend isn't. I don't. I really don't. I don't want to get in trouble. I mean, I don't want to get hurt in this thing. And but we've been all right. We've been all right. It's not even clear. It's gotten really dangerous up now with you. But I mean, if that was of service, you gotta sort of just to put a good scare in your friend. While that loads too, I was watching an interview with the. Oh boy, this would be the best use of our time. What I'd said, and we'll just see if we could make it shorter without the. It's sad though. I mean, it makes your friends sad, and but not every. I mean, if people are watching our. You know what? It also sort of goes with we're loading that one as a second part to the first one we made about what happened to these people living in a sort of tent encampment by the train tracks, and this would go with that too. Particularly because it's real in the sense that I was watching that film. There was a thing on TV. So the topic was suggested that there was something on TV as a film I've never seen before. It's in German subtitles. It's a German film. So it's an American film in German. It's in German with subtitles, and it's set in the during the rise of the Nazi regime. It looks like the party scene is big swastikas, and your friend, it prompted me to say, like, well, often in our thing, or in our unified field and in the game, well, I don't know, later on in this sort of other part of the game, often people like your narrator, particularly of Jewish descent, were asked this sort of prompted to sort of tell more about why, what is this now, this incredible fascination that's certainly going on, all kinds of people, or interest people have in the Nazi period in Germany that would appear to be, people like, what do you talk, why you, especially people of Jewish descent, they've seen the movie The Believer, but like want to know more. What it prompts us to say about the videos we made about what happened to these people who are living in one of the many tent cities like all over our country, and then we made a follow up to that about start to see what's going on. That we're right now we have the class divide in our society. It's what used to be like a country where there was general prosperity at different times, but never foreseen except started in my era. And it started recently. That means that the class divide now it looks certainly it's more like a South American country. Okay, that's not part of the intention all the way up till now that we'd be a society like that, tent cities all over the place, and then people like your narrator in a Dracula castle. I mean, that's not what this it wasn't supposed to be. If you look at the picture of we're gonna head into like it's gonna start to look like the Middle Ages. I mean, this is like okay, and it's sad, but the thing is, what you want to make people aware of it is but what's sad about it is it's when people like your narrator get sad about that is when I watch a film like this, and then it's set in Germany during the rise of the Nazi regime. I get sad when I watch that. Well, you should too. If you're one of the people living in all these tent cities or in abject poverty, or I mean, then you're not watching German films. But if you're in the on a time to sit and watch a German film, but if you're we mentioned what's happening in the higher classes and people in understand what's changed and where we're going in what this different kind of America we've gone into, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And it's sad. The reason it's sad is not. It's not. Some people have a sort of feel bad about a lot of things, but this is actually what's sad is this sort of like ruin about the sort of ruining of our country that happened starting in my lifetime. The very recent development that it's like this. That why it's sad when you watch a film set during like the rise of the Nazi regime. It's not about. I mean, it's not about the genocide and all that, and so it's just set during that period. There's a party in the scene, but here's the thing: that what you see on people, what's happened here. So sad that no one, people don't know what's happening in our country, but aren't aware. Partly because they're unaware or don't know why there's interest in the Nazi period as an issue with like anti-Semitism. I'm Jewish descent. Okay, and what we said in that video is like something people should know and why, you should get sad too when you want to watch a film set in that period, even if it's not because the genocide part of during World War II, that's to be horrified by. But this is sad to just see it's a German film set during that period. What you see, but even how the characters in the film are behaving, right? It reminds you of something. What we put in the other video, which we should, because it's not taught in the universities either. Let's talk about before you talk about Germany, Russia, what you're taught in the university, or what a college student would be learning, is that we had a Cold War, this dangerous period called the Cold War with Russia, and and it was a different system, and but America won the Cold War and the Soviets lost. Right, okay, that's what you'd be taught, and that's why you learn like a liberal college in the history class or something. Or it's also backed up by what are called intellectuals, meaning people with privilege. Someone sent them to a liberal college and they write for magazines and stuff to the history of that. With Russia, okay, that's not right. One, that's unreal. People will follow Chomsky to tell you, when look into it, it's accurate. The people who. To say the winner, America won the Cold War and the Soviets lost, is inaccurate. The workers and the poor in both societies were the losers, and the investor class in both societies were the winners. So that history's wrong. It's the picture of it. Things in both societies, things got worse, but it's even the structural features of our society and globally now, right, starting to look here much more like the Soviet Union, and globally as well. It's, matter of fact, it's something the Soviets only dreamed of. One entity in each entity in each sector, no competition, trade into no competition. The people here were out of the decision-making process. As far as decisions our government's making, but part of that is that they're out of the decision-making process too, because they're under threat from this transnational sector with one structure in each entity. Okay, that was sort of like the world the Soviets said they might be able to bring. Now it looks like we're living in that. Okay. But when you see a film set in Germany during this period, and you sort of see the way the people are behaving, remind you towards each other and things, right? It reminds you of something, and it makes your narrative very sad with in what way our society's been ruined, which is that right, rather than be a situation where there's tent cities all over the place, and then people like your friend here and it's narrating from his Dracula castle, and looks like the Middle Ages when you look from, depending on where you're looking from, right? But see, there's a picture with a society where during that period, and by the way, Germany now, my friend who went over there, he's a master's in economics, he said look, the generation after the Nazis very guilt-ridden. He said the next generation, they'll talk about it a little more openly with some distance. But the fact is, because of that, the way they structured the economy, everything else aside from it, right? That's why Germany's the most. I mean, everyone I know who's done over this is, it's so different. It really is from places people travel that your friend knows, like, say, like the best society, partly because not just the economy as a whole does well, but my friend who came back there told me that what he said is a good observation. Probably it's true. I've seen it with German people in America that I know. He said one of the consequences of having a society function where the whole does well. I mentioned my friend Boris from Germany always said that they pay high taxes. The investor class does very well, but they also pay high taxes. But they're happy to, because unlike in our society, they actually see the results of how, they see there isn't masses of tent cities all over. People are, all social classes are doing despite the global economic crisis, generally speaking, they're weathering it the best. But he said also another faction of that is there isn't like class hatred on all sides, because it's a society that functions well as a whole economically. So like you have a person in the investor class and a person who's in the working class, or a bricklayer, but they aren't like, there isn't mutual hatred on each of their eyes, because the fact is everyone's sort of doing well, everyone's educated, there's healthcare, it's a functioning society. Right. This in these films of this period from Germany, you see people with the idea of the whole society is going to benefit from a sort of common mission, and there's sort of pride in building the society together, right? Building the society together with the thought of, like, for the future, for future generations, sort of an intergenerational project to build the economy. From the looking at that, this is a tragedy now, living here. When look at something like that, it's a tragedy. This started recently, though, this downward spiral into like a third world country. Personally, I wasn't psychologically ready for that. I had heard my parents' stories about it. It didn't sound like a country like that. Now it is. That's what your narrator thinks when he watches a film like this. That's what we said in the other video.